They were shouting questions at him. He decided not to take questions. Gave a speech here in which he said a few things that were quite beautiful at the beginning. He talked about having met with the families of people who had lost loved ones. And he said that you'll know you're going to make it when you walk by a window and you see something that your loved one would have remarked upon, and that a smile will come to your lips before a tear comes to your eye. He talked about understanding the rage that they feel, but that he urged them not to let rage consume you. He also went through a long list of the things he's going to be asking Congress for. He again reiterated to the adversaries of Israel and the United States to not get involved. He used the word don't once again. He talked about asking for the Red Cross to be allowed to visit the hostages, as well as $100 million in aid request for Gaza and the West Bank. And he said, as I bring in Pete Hegseth, co-host of Fox and Friends Weekend, he said if this aid is stolen by Hamas, the aid will end. He finished his speech by saying that terrorists live in darkness, terrorists will not win, freedom will win, and that Israel will continue to be a vibrant and Jewish democratic nation. Pete Hegseth, that was a way for me to sum up the speech, but let's get your reaction to it now.
Yeah, good summary. I want to sit here cheering the good things that Joe Biden said about America's support for Israel. And he did say some good things. But this entire trip feels like almost a smothering. I mean, Anthony Blinken in the war room for 7 hours, Joe Biden there saying, we know you're harmed, we know you've been attacked, we know terrorists, but restrain yourselves, don't react too much. When you say something like, if Hamas diverts or steals aid, it's when. That's what they do. Aid and this ability, they control the aid agencies in Gaza. Hamas does. He's announcing more aid to Gaza and the West Bank. You had a conversation with Mark Levin where Iran is now able to sell weapons around the region. He's calling for peace and a two-state solution. I think he's living in the decades previous without the realization of the evidence in front of us that Land for Peace has brought a terror state to Israel's border, and Israel has to do something about it. And they can't, by the way, until Joe Biden leaves. Because if the President of the United States is there and you open a land war in Gaza, it opens up the possibility of other things as well. He also just refuses, Dana, refuses to mention the name Iran. And you can say nebulously, don't. And I hope they're saying things behind the scenes. But ultimately, the message has yet to be received by the Iranian regime, the implications of what they've done. So I think this trip is a reflection of the debacle that happened in Afghanistan and the reality that politically he needs to get ahead of it. And I like that his instincts are pro-Israel, but his administration's instincts are not. They're to play both sidesism and to talk about the Palestinian plight when it was Hamas who targeted elementary schools specifically, and now shoots rockets that hit their own hospitals and want to spin it because it benefits them to have dead civilians, whereas Israelis simply want retribution for what was done to them.
Pete, we are watching live on screen. We've seen it all morning. This is in Beirut, and this is in the West Bank, sorry, and it's not live. Okay, so we have been seeing these protests we've been showing through the morning in Beirut, pretty aggressive protests with the Lebanese military vigorously fighting back and pushing them back away from our embassy. American facilities targeted in the Middle East in the last 24 hours include the U.S. Embassy in Beirut and the Al-Assad Air Base in Iraq. I anticipate there will probably be more of that. Have you been thinking on those lines as well?
Well, there will be more of it because whether we like it or not, the world's, I mean, I remember in Iraq after the bombing of the Al-Aqsa Mosque, the Golden Mosque that triggered so much of the sectarian violence in Iraq. I was there that morning when it happened during the Iraq War. And from the mosques, we knew quite quickly that it was al-Qaeda in Iraq that had perpetuated that attack. But from the mosques, they blamed the Crusaders and the Jews. Except for the Jews in our units, there are no Jews living in Iraq. This is always the way they blame. They blame the West. They blame the big Satan and the little Satan. So now's not a time for equivocation. Now's the time to fortify our embassies. Now's the time to send clear messages with our ambassadors that if a hair on the head of American is harmed, you will pay for that. To include you, Hezbollah, to include you, Hamas, to include you, Iran. And that's what Donald Trump did so well. Not to make this partisan. This is a very different approach. He said, if you harm the hair on the head of an American, you will pay, the regime will pay, and Qasem Soleimani is proof of it. Instead, we've opened up money to Iran. We've opened up negotiation. We've allowed them to fund their proxies. We've opened it back up. And so we've created this an environment of a vacuum where people think they can challenge America without retribution. So I'd expect more of this. But, man, I hope our Marines and our security forces there are on lockdown, doing whatever they need to do to save Americans, just like whatever we need to do to save Americans who are in Gaza right now.
Pete Hegseth, thank you for joining us, and I'm sure we'll be seeing you throughout today, tomorrow, and through the weekend. Thank you.